All right, welcome to part 2 of QM5, creating and solving inequalities. What we're going to do now is what happens when we got variables on both sides of the inequality. So it says creating and solving inequalities with variables on both sides. That's creative. All right. So sometimes you got them on both sides of the inequalities. We can still solve these. We just have to be careful about how we do it. Let's see what we got here. We've got the daily info. They charge a fee of $650 plus $80 per week to run an ad. The People's Paper charges $145 per week. Okay, so we got two different papers. If I've got daily info, the daily info can be represented by $650 plus $80 per week because W is a number of weeks to run the ad. The People's Paper is just $145 per week. That's where that comes in. Now the question though is, how many weeks must an ad run for the total cost at the daily info? So that's the total cost of the daily info to be less expensive than the People's Paper. So we set up two expressions. My expressions are 650 plus 80W and 145W. And then we put an inequality symbol in there. And that just took care of it, right? Now we've got we've got variables on both sides of this inequality. I'm going to write my work over here. 650 plus 80W is less than 145W. Now, you can do this multiple ways. I'm going to show you the way that you can do it to not end up having to flip the inequality if you divide by a negative. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look, where do I have more of my variable? In this case, my variable is W. I have 145 on the right and 80 on the left. Okay, I want to move my variable to the side with more. There are more W's on the right than the left. I'm going to get rid of the W's on the left. I'm going to do that by subtracting 80W from both sides. 650 is less than 65W. Okay, I finished this out dividing both sides by 65. I have 10 is less than W. Now we should rewrite this. Get in the habit of rewriting this with a variable first. So I've got W and I've got 10. Remember that inequality sign needs to open to the same value, right? If it opens towards W here and 10 is less than W, it needs to open towards W here when we rewrite it. W is greater than 10. There we go. Right, these mean the same thing. So what was W again? W was weeks. W is weeks, and it just says now we've got W greater than 10. In other words, the total cost at the daily info was less than the cost of the People's Paper if the ad runs for more than 10 weeks. So it's got to be more than 10 weeks. It can't be exactly 10 weeks because it would still be, the People's Paper would still be cheaper. More than 10 weeks is when we get less. Okay, let's make our own here. The home cleaning company charges $312 to power wash the siding of a house plus $12 for each window. So we've got home cleaning company. We got HGC that has $312 plus $12 per window. I like that, right? I like that. We've also got Power Clean. Power Clean, see, it sounds like that's a powerlifting, right? Power Clean. Power Clean charges $36 per window, but they throw in the cost of the siding for free. Aren't they nice? So $36 per window. This says how many windows must a house have to make the cost from the total, the home cleaning company, the HGC, less expensive than Power Clean. In other words, when is HGC less than Power Clean? When is 312 plus 12W is less than 36W? I like that. We set up two expressions, and then we just had to read a little bit further to figure out how to do our inequality. Let's solve. I've got more W's on the right, so I'm going to subtract 12W from both sides. And I end up with 312 is less than 24W. Divide both sides by 24. I'm going to double check my math here. 13. 13 is less than W. Or if you get in the habit of rewriting this with a variable first, I've got W, I've got 13, still has to open towards W. W is greater than 13. In other words, a house must have more than 13 windows. It can't have exactly 13 windows. If it had exactly 13 windows, it would not be more efficient to go to the home cleaning company. It's got to have more than 13 windows to be less expensive than Power Clean. Now this one says, how would the final inequality change if you divided by negative 24 in the next to last step? In other words, what if we had done this? What if we had instead done this? What if we had 300, how do I want to do this here? If I had done this, 312 plus 12W less than 36W. What if instead, what if I subtracted both sides by 36W? And remember, 36W minus 36W is 0, not blank. So this is 312 minus 24W is less than 0. Subtract that 312 from both sides, and I get negative 24W is less than negative 312. I'd have to divide both sides by a negative number. And when I do that, I've got W and 13. But remember, when I divide both sides by a negative number in an inequality, I have to flip that. Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. Flip that inequality. If it was less than, now it becomes greater than. And you'll notice that that W is greater than 13 looks a lot like W is greater than 13. We didn't change anything. We didn't change anything. All right. So how would that final inequality change? If we divided by negative 24, we'd have to change the direction of the inequality symbol. Okay. You're at the point right now where you need to do number 8, your turn. I know they didn't give you a lot of room down there, but that's okay. You can do this part. Pause, come back, and check when you are done. Okay, awkward pause over. The school band will sell pizzas to raise money for the new uniforms. The supplier charges, okay, we got this going on here. We got the supplier, he charges $100 plus $4 per every pizza. Now we've got the band members selling pizzas for $7 each. So they make $7 per pizza. Now we've got two different expressions. Write and solve an inequality to find how many pizzas the band members will have to sell to make a profit. In other words, when is the band, remember this is the band, when is the band greater? When is the band greater than the supplier? We can do this. Subtract 4P from both sides. I have 100 is less than 3P. Divide both sides by 3. And I end up with 33. Well, let's go 33, approximately 33. Let's do this. 33.3 is less than P, or P is greater than 33.3. Yay, yay, we're done. We solved it. Now we need to figure this out. We need to write this. What was the context? How many pizzas they have to sell to make a profit? They have to sell at least 33 1/3. We can round it up. Generally, you're not selling partial pizzas, but let's say we did. Okay. Band would have to sell at least 33 1/3 pizzas, or you could say 34 pizzas if you're saying they're buying whole pizzas. Okay. Pizzas. So the important parts here are the initial write-up and then the description at the end. And the description at the end. All right, let's check our next page here. Ooh, I like these. Think about these and check them in your in the teacher's edition that's posted with it too. Which inequality symbol would you use to represent the following words or phrases? And then maybe come up with another example. I like that. Other than that, though, you've got some assignments, or you've got an assignment with practice 1 for QM5. Knock it out, get to it. Let me know if you got questions. Have a great day.